What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason and Joe here talking about 1995, and in this video, counting down our 25 favorite songs each. We will alternate back and forth, counting down to our favorite tracks of the year. If you missed our favorite albums of the year video, that is out now. Also, a top 25 countdown. Go check that out. Probably a lot of songs from those albums here, so if you don't want those spoilers for the albums video, go watch that first. But I kicked off that video. I'll kick off this one as well with my number 25, which is Drank Like a River by Whiskey Town. Just a really loose, rowdy bar band type of song. Ryan Adams' vocals are very rough, even for him, just very scratchy, and it's just a great like drinking tune. So, Drank Like a River.
Right. My 25 is weird, man. I probably could have gotten my whole 25 from like five different artists. And I was kind of struggling down at the bottom of the 25 to really find songs that I really just couldn't live without. Usually I'm dying trying to whittle it down to a lean 25, but here it's just like, do I want to include that fifth Smashing Pumpkins song? So I'll try to expand a little bit. I think I only have like three or four songs on the whole top 25 that weren't on my 25 favorite albums list. But here's one. I'll go with Wonder from Natalie Merchant. I always liked this tune, and I appreciated it more throughout the deep dive, mostly because of that great lead guitar work from Jennifer Turner. Kind of reminds me of, you know, almost like a Matthew Sweet girlfriend edition, but a little less in your face. But there's some really cool stuff going on. Very adventurous, kind of searching guitar part from Jennifer Turner, and I think the hooks from Natalie Merchant are just too good to ignore.
Well, I've got seven tracks, not from my albums list, but we won't get to one of them for quite a while. My number 24 is Big Brown Eyes by the Old 97s. I was gonna go with Doreen, but there's a version of Doreen on their first record, and they like remade it for the second one, so I didn't know if it was eligible for 95. But this one, just some of Rhett's best lyrics. It's got the line, "A box of red and a pill or three, and I'm calling time and temperature for some company." Just, I love his lyrics. Great stuff.
My number 24 is not going to be one you will have on your top 1,000, I think. But I got Aeroplane, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think it's super catchy. It's funky enough without being too funky. It's got a great bass line. I think Anthony Kiedis' vocals are pretty. I mean, they're not like normal, but they're not obnoxious. And I think ultimately it's pretty charming and silly and nonsensical in sort of an endearing way. And having Dave Navarro's guitar work just anchors it. It makes it a little more grounded in the world of rock and roll. And I think that's a good thing when Red Hot Chili Peppers are involved.
My number 23 is a song that I suspect you will be talking about later and in greater detail, but I've got Common People by Pulp. And yeah, it's just funny, smart, clever, but it also has like this great energy and this like incessant beat that makes you want to move.
Well, I wish you had said more about it because that's the last time you're going to hear about that one.
People can listen
Though,
to it.
in a true top 25, that might be on my top 25. There's too many Pulp songs. I couldn't really pick, so that one kind of got left out, unfortunately. But it's probably, I like it better than Wonder, probably. I'll say that. My number 23 is from a band, did not have an album out this year, and they're a couple years past their prime for me, but U2 with Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me from the Batman Forever soundtrack. I think it's a very catchy song. I've always liked it. Even before I really knew who U2 was, I was a big fan of Batman Forever as a movie. I think it's underrated. And this is kind of it's glammy, it's a little sexy, it's a little gutsy and gritty from U2. It's kind of T-Rex in there a little bit. Um, and Bono's moaning and doing his thing. And it's kind of grungy and dirtier than U2 would usually get. I like the guitar tone on it, some good orchestration, and I just think it's a solid single from U2.
My number 22 is Psychiatric Exploration of the Fetus with Needles by Flaming Lips. It's just got one of the gnarliest guitar sounds that I've ever heard. It is so awesome, but there's all this like really interesting musical stuff happening on the track. The bass line's really cool. The vocals are really melodic. And it just has this guitar that is just like screeching away. It's like this like broken, fuzzy sound that is just like ripping through this song and somehow uh, adding to it and not ruining it. When a sound like that guitar should not work, but it's awesome.
My number 22, my first appearance of Prince, not the last. A lot of eligible songs from Prince from Gold Experience, but I'm gonna go with Gold, the finale. Prince, at his most inspirational and aspirational, kind of Purple Rain-ish. It's kind of a big, over the top arena rock pop. Like Purple Rain, just kind of a big finale, adorned in the finest trappings. And Purple Rain's still gold, but gold here takes silver, I think, in the all-time Prince finale songs. It's just a great Prince song. One of his last just like monster pop tunes.
My number 21 is Sparky's Dream by Teenage Fan Club. Like most Teenage Fan Club songs, it's got a really beautiful melody, sung really well. But the thing that puts it on this list is that it's the one track on Grand Prix that has some guitar with some oomph to it. The guitar is a little barky and a little tougher on this track than the rest of the record. And those two things together, the heavier guitars with the sweet vocals, is just what makes Teenage Fan Club so great.
My number 21, another band that did not have an album this year, but this was one of their first singles from a great album that would come out in 1996. My favorite album in 1996, in fact. I got Girl from Mars by Ash. This is just a lovely slice of adolescent pop rock, which is what Ash did so well on 1977. There's just nostalgic cut after nostalgic cut on there. I guess it wasn't really nostalgic for them because they were like 17 when they wrote it. But it's just a great slice of pop rock, huge fuzzy guitars, and Winterman cigars, and just kind of Ash doing what Ash does best, and probably the song that most people know best from Ash because it was on like the Gilmore Girls soundtrack. I've actually heard someone that is not an Ash fan listening to this song. I was like, "Oh, do you know who Ash is?" They're like, "No, I don't, but I like this song." So I was like, "All right, good enough."
Well, I've got an Ash song coming up later, but it's not that one.
Ooh, is the other one?
Number 20 for me is Box Full of Letters by Wilco. And yeah, I just think even early on, even going back to Uncle Tupelo, Jeff Tweedy was writing some good stuff and getting better all the time. And yeah, it's just, I think, a really good, like, kind of classic songwriting type of song. The band sounds really good. There's like just the right amount of twang. Everyone's playing together really well. Interestingly, when Uncle Tupelo broke up, most of the band went with Jeff, even though they're the band that sounds less like Uncle Tupelo than Sunvolt. So yeah, a lot of chemistry there already on the early stuff. So yeah, it's a great one.
All right, one of the best Billboard songs one of the best pop songs of the year. I'll say that, if not the best. That might be the best actually. Depends on how you classify pop. I got "Always Be My Baby," Mariah Carey. That little guitar figure in the intro, that little classical number, just sets the mood perfectly. This one's kind of laid back and doesn't hurry, and it's just a really good showcase for one of the greatest voices in the history of pop music. And I think she does really well here to show off her range and feel without going all nuclear. Like there's none of that like super high whistle register type stuff from Mariah Carey. She's a little more kind of in the groove and in the pocket, and it's just a perfect little pop song.
Number 19, I have Someday I Will Treat You Good by Sparkle Horse. Just a song with a lot of longing in it and a lot of guilt and like wanting to be better and do better, but just failing. And there's a lot of that in Sparkle Horse's like whole catalog, and a lot of it's like really slow and sad. But this is coming at you with some loud rock guitars and some energy, and yeah, always a great juxtaposition.
19, I got one from Blur. I got Country House. Um, I think it's Blur at their most fun. It's the song that beat Oasis in the great battle of Britpop or whatever. It's outsold whatever Oasis was throwing out as their first single from What's the Story, Morning Glory. And this is like their peppiest, most British sounding song. It's got brass and the big backing vocals and the cheeky solo and very Kinksian kind of XTC vibes, which this kind of song would not fly in the U.S. Um, but in Britain it was huge, and it's always just struck me as just a great kind of throwback to days of old.
Number 18 for me is the first one from an album not in my top 25, but it was in your top 25. I have Big Me by the Foo Fighters. Just a music video that is seared into my brain. That was like my peak of MTV watching, and it got played a ton. And I don't know, it's just got like that Beatlesy sweetness. It feels like, an early Beatles tune. Just a great pop song. Dave has a great voice for that kind of thing. I prefer him like singing those sweet melodies rather than screaming. I don't think he has the greatest voice for all the yelling he does, but Big Me's great.
Yeah, you gotta sell it. You gotta break out the Mentos.
Yeah, I don't have any. Sorry.
Who who eats Mentos anymore anyway? All right, my number 18 is a song that's it's better than the 18th best song of the year, I think. But I have more from this artist coming, and I don't know. I gotta space them out a little bit. I got 1979 from the Smashing Pumpkins, which is just a perfect song. I mean, it's just literally perfect. And I don't know. I've heard it a bajillion times, and I still think it sounds good. I was making this list. I was like, okay, I've got to be tired of some of these Smashing Pumpkins songs by now. And I threw it on, and I was like, this is great. The lyrics are great. The way he uses that sample, just to make things a little weirder, a little different, is perfect. And yeah, it's so good. Billy Corgan is so good.
Well, Foo Fighters were sounding a little Beatlesy, but then I've got the Beatles themselves at number 17 with Free as a Bird, which, Beatles anthology, a couple new tunes. And yes, it sounds like ELO more than it sounds like the Beatles. I mean, it really just tons of, Jeff Lynne all over it. But I think on its own merits, it's a great song. It's great to hear John's voice. George is laying down some great slide parts, and I like Jeff Lynne's production, so not a big deal to me that it sounds that way. So, yeah, I think it's really well done and much better than that last Beatles song we got.
My number 17, I'm gonna go with Ricochet from Faith No More, and I'm not the biggest King for a Day fan. People seem to think it's like their best, and I don't get it. I just can't really get into that one. Too weird, not enough guitar. But I think Ricochet has all the hallmarks, the trademarks of a great Faith No More song. Got a little more guitar. It's not quite as abrasive. It's not as weird as the stuff on King for a Day. And I think it would be a better fit really for like Angel Dust or The Real Thing. Um, Great chorus, and I love the line, "It's always funny until someone gets hurt, then it's just hilarious."
Number 16 for me is Friends of P by the Rentals, a song that could only come from the 90s. It is very 90s in every way. It's got like goofy lyrics that make no sense, weird woohoo hooks, a weird synth lead that seems out of place in the mix and is way too loud, and a really like intensely fuzzy bass and guitar sound. And not a lot of it seems like any of it would be a good choice, but it all works really well somehow.
16 for me, I'm gonna go with First of the Month, sorry, by Bone Thugs in Harmony. I think it's got a cool melody. It's pretty and haunting, and it's got the West Coast production. Got that little like slide whistle synth line, which I just die for. Uh, I like the rapping a lot. It's very fast and frenetic, but also holds the melodies really well. It's just that harmonious nature that, you know, was their trademark. And yeah, it's just a very cool rap song. My favorite rap song of the year.
My number 15 is Funny Face by the Muffs. Just really simple but powerful rock song. The mix is great. I don't know who mixed it, but I think it was produced by Rob Cavallo. That's the guy that did Dookie, right? Yeah, this is the record he did right after Dookie. And it sounds so good, and Kim's voice is just insanely unique and great.
15 for me. I'm gonna go with a little Supergrass. Favorite song from uh, whatever the hell the album's called.
I Should Coco.
I should Coco. I must Coco. I will Coco. Caught by the Fuzz. My favorite punk song of the year, 'cause that's basically what it is. It's got that cheeky adolescent Buzzcocks type energy, but it's also super catchy, kind of like the Buzzcocks. It's basically a Buzzcock song, but transported to the 90s. Um, it's just got that like English Cockney attitude. It feels like British, which I like. Big Brit guy, 95. Feels believable, and it's got a great bass line, great crunchy guitars. It's just a really fun, energetic, catchy little number.
Number 14 for me is Pensacola by Joan Osborne. I think her vocal on this is just incredible. It's like really bluesy, and it's got this like really cool swampy groove, and there's a great guitar solo on it. I think it's played by Eric Bazillion, who is the guy that wrote One of Us, the song that everyone hates, but it's a pretty killer guitar solo.
I don't hate One of Us. I think it's a fine song. It was also on the
Sure.
Grammy Best
Oh,
of '96, and I thought it was a fine song, along with You Ought to Know, which, spoiler alert, didn't make my list because I'm sick to death of it because my band plays it. I don't want to hear it anymore. So that was the biggest drop off from my original when we did Songs of the Year series. I think it was like number 2 or 3, and now it's just gone, completely gone. 14 for me. I got the cheeky, charming Britpop number "She's Electric" from Oasis, which I feel like has always gotten a bad rap. I think it was the first single in America, and it kind of bombed. But I've always loved it. I think it's super, catchy. It's got real, like many of the songs on What's the Story, Morning Glory, that Beatlesiness. But this one has kind of more of a, I don't know, Paul McCartney Beatles instead of John Lennon Beatles. It's charming. It's fun. It's you know, just a little catchier than the rest of the album, I think. It shows a different side to Oasis. It's not all kind of dirge and sturm and like, we're working class, we're angry, we're whatever. This one is kind of fun and cheeky, and it's a good side, I think, that Oasis probably should have explored more of. but I guess they kind of got scared off of that because the song wasn't a big hit like many other songs on the album.
My number 13 is Somebody's Crying by Chris Isaac. And I always really like Chris Isaac's voice. He sounds like kind of like Roy Orbison and maybe a little Elvis in there and those type of like older singers. And a lot of the time, his music is like feels like it's trying to emulate that or reaching back to the past for its sound. And I just kind of like the way this track doesn't seem to be trying so hard to sound like vintage or retro. It has this like kind of like breezy modern pop 90s-ness to it that I like and I think works well with his voice, and it's a nice like different kind of sound for him to play with. And I think the melody is just like super super beautiful. So
Number 13 for me, I'm gonna go with Over Now from Alice in Chains, and it's pretty much just a placeholder because I could pick 8 or 9 songs from the self-titled album. I think it's just the best example of the band just like imploding and dying. And it shows off, I think, to the best of his abilities, Jerry Cantrell. Um, I love the combination of the electric and the acoustic, just the sound, the interplay between them. Sounds so great. It's kind of got a groovy beat, but kind of belies the fact that it's just a incredibly dark song. And I love Cantrell's oozing guitar sound, and that solo he drops kind of at the end is just haunting, otherworldly, just kind of bad things are coming, but it's a really beautiful, sad song.
number 12 for me is Galaxy by Blind Melon. I believe this was the lead single to Soup, although I would assume there was a radio edit that chopped off like the Dixieland jazz band thing at the beginning. But once the song gets going, man, it's so awesome. The verses just rock incredibly hard. The two guitar players like playing off of each other so well. And then it just like opens up into this like country tinged chorus that is so catchy, and just switching back and forth between those two sounds like seamlessly is incredible. I think it's I can kind of understand it not being a hit. It doesn't really feel like a pop hit or even like an alternative rock hit of the 90s, but it's just so good.
Number 12, No Doubt. And I'm gonna go with The Climb. And I'm a little tired of the radio hits, but there's some really cool deep cuts on Tragic Kingdom, one of them being The Climb, written by Eric Stefani, brother of Gwen, before he left the band, the keyboardist. This is very different. It's not really ska. It's almost like progressive, psychedelic, pop rock. Some real cool guitar figures, some spacey flute or recorder or something. Great bass line. And it's just a combination of a lot of things that you wouldn't expect No Doubt to do. And they do it really well. Like there's no like trying something and being like, oh, okay, we're not very good at this, but we're gonna try it. Like they nail the whole thing. Gwen even shows off a lot of range and personality. Really good lower register, and it's just a really cool like 60s. I mean, there's just all this cool stuff in this song, and if you just think of No Doubt as like a ska band, I think that's doesn't give them enough credit for the cool stuff they did, like The Climb.
My number 11, this is where I have the Ash song. I don't even know what song you're talking about when you say the other one, because they've got two songs on the Angus soundtrack, one of which is older, and one comes out in 96 on their next album, but is first released here, and it's Kung Fu by Ash. And yeah, I love this song. It's super high energy, super fun, just non-stop earworms, just a tight little pop song. I think it's great.
See, I was thinking maybe Angel Interceptor, which I believe was a 95 release too. I actually forgot that Kung Fu was from 95. I don't know if I don't know if I like Kung Fu better than Girl from Mars, but it's very close, and I'd have to think about that. It's a good pick. Throw me off my game here. My number 11, we've already heard from this band. They're back. maybe not for the last time. I got Zero from Smashing Pumpkins, and I think you mentioned this in the album video, just the audacity of Billy Corgan to write songs like 1979 and 33, and then also have Zero on the same album. Just a ferocious, basically metal song, just a blistering guitar attack, the use of harmonics and noise, the pure squall of that guitar solo. Like I don't even know if those are notes. He's just like going ham, and it works. It works so well. It's just glorious noise, and this is just the most powerful tune I think on Melancholy, and for that, it's number 11 on the list.
Number 10 for me is Blue by the Jayhawks, which is an alt country classic. Incredible harmonies, maybe not heard since like Crosby, Stills and Nash, basically. I think they just sound so good. And yeah, I think the first time I actually heard this song was a cover by The Thorns, which was a supergroup of Matthew Sweet, Sean Mullins, and Pete Droge. And one of those guys is holding down my number 9 spot.
I bet I think it's Matthew Sweet, but who knows with you. Number 10, I'm going to go with Disco 2000 from Pulp. Pulp again. Is this my first Pulp tune? Maybe it's my first Pulp tune. Maybe not my last Pulp tune. It's such a fun song. Uh, kind of interpolates Gloria. It's got a disco feel to it, but it's also kind of juxtaposed with these slightly naughty, nostalgic, almost sad at times, lyrics about growing up from Jarvis Cocker. I think it's a vivid, just excellently told story. Um, and Jarvis Cocker doesn't have the best voice, but he brings every ounce of his vocal ability to sing that melody in the chorus, and he almost hits all the notes. So it's very charming. Just an all-around fun song that makes you think.
Yeah, it's Matthew Sweet at number 9 with Sick of Myself. Just a perfect power pop song. Incredible guitar work from Richard Lloyd, who popped up on several of Matthew Sweet's albums. And yeah, you get these like kind of more angular verses with this guitar like cutting in and cutting through, and then just these amazing choruses with the layered harmonies from Matthew Sweet. It's so good.
My number 9 is going to be The Universal from Blur, Back to the Brits. Just one of my all-time favorite Blur tunes. Love the use of orchestration. The strings are great, and it's just got this great build, a wonderful, powerful, uplifting chorus. It feels huge. It feels universal. It's one of, if not Blur's biggest, kind of most lavish productions, and I don't know. I love Blur, so I love this song.
My number 8 is my Smashing Pumpkins representative. I'm going with the one that I had ranked highest from Melancholy during Smashing Pumpkins week. It's my second favorite Smashing Pumpkins song behind Mayonnaise. It is Galapagos, which may seem like a weird pick. Basically, I had like 28 songs on my working list, and I cut the other three that were all Smashing Pumpkins songs. So, um, yeah, I think it's just like the prettiest Smashing Pumpkins song. I think it has amazing vocals from Billy Corgan, and I think the drumming on it is really amazing, understated, and really like helps build the song up at the end. And I love the chorus and the lyrics and everything. I think it's just a song that represents kind of the magical feeling of melancholy to me.
All right, my number 8, another one where, man, I could have picked so many songs from this album, and that is the debut of Ben Folds 5. My favorite, though, I think, has got to be Philosophy. just because it was the first one I really just kind of latched onto from this album. I think it was on their live album, Naked Baby Photos or whatever it's called, and I just it's just got this, I don't know, fun, um, kind of goofy lyrics, and it just has incredible piano. It's just remarkable what Ben Folds can do. The whole band is just kind of, you know, tight. The bass and the piano and the drums just all come together. It's kind of all over the place, and he throws in, was it like a Gershwin song or Rhapsody in Blue, or so I forget what he throws in there, but he just goes off on this classical piece and then comes right back in and just kind of shows off all the skills that he has on piano, which are ample.
My number seven is Windfall by Sunvolt from their album Trace. I think it's a great album opener. Lyrically, the words that are most repeated, "May the wind take your troubles away," I think just like sets up this record so well. Settles you in, kind of relaxes you. It feels very open and free and like you're hitting the open road, and it's just a great stage setter.
All right, my number seven, going back to Pulp for Pencil Skirt, and I love this one. It's so depraved. Um, it's kind of like out of the Walter Becker, Donald Fagen playbook, where it's kind of a disgusting little tune about two despicable characters, but it also kind of sounds cheery and fun for the most part. And it's just, it's like a good trashy tabloid TV story. It's just everything that I really like about Pulp. My top representative from a different class, but like many of the albums and songs I've talked about, artists I've talked about, there's like five or six songs from Pulp that probably could have made this list. But Pencil Skirt's got the most despicable lyrics, so it's at the top.
Number six for me is going to Ozzy Osbourne with Ghost Behind My Eyes from Osmosis. I said in the other video that it might perhaps be my favorite Ozzy solo song. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to dispute that. I don't know what else it would be. The switch in this track from the verses into the way it launches into the chorus and his melody is so so good. It is like the most soaring melody. It's like the audio equivalent of hang gliding. It just like feels like you're just like jumping off a building. It's amazing.
Wow. Well, I don't have any Ozzy on my list. Probably Perry Mason would be my top choice, but it got cut. My number six used to be my number one, but it's fallen a couple spots here. I got Pearl Jam, another band without an album. They did have an EP and they were on Mirrorball, so they were keeping busy here in 95, but I got ID, which I think it's commonly known as I Got Shit. I think they changed it. At least that's what it is on one of the live albums. This is from the Merkin EP. Um, love the lyrics, really heartsick from Vedder. It's got a great build into the chorus, and then Neil Young drops a very loose, colorful guitar solo. Kind of takes this tune to the next level, and it has been known to be my favorite Pearl Jam song. I don't know if it still is, but I still think it's probably their best deep cut, one that you don't hear too often in the wild.
Okay, my number five is In the Meantime by Space Hog. Just what a chorus, just an unreal hook, but also what a bass line. Just one of the best bass lines of the 90s, I think. Super memorable, fun to play, fun to learn how to play. And yeah, they got this like glitzy, glammy energy that was kind of different for the era. And I think it's kind of like one of those songs that kind of transitioned us from the darkness of grunge into the more broad color palette of like post-grunge alternative.
That one would have made my list a couple years ago. I don't know why it didn't quite have the same impact, but that bass line is just amazing. Number five, time to get a little Radiohead on here. Could have had 5 or 6 Radiohead songs on this list. But I'm gonna go with Fake Plastic Trees as my number five. And I think this one is like the prototype of the, at least in the in the ballad um, category of Radiohead songs. This one has the build that I think all their other builds are based on. It's got the perfect arc, kind of slow, quiet build up. It's got the catharsis where it just explodes, and Tom York just goes nuclear with some of the best, prettiest singing I think you will ever hear. And then it's got this lovely denouement where it just kind of settles down and rides it out towards the end. And it's just it's a perfect Radiohead song, and only number five on my list. So, woo!
My number four, I've got All Right by Supergrass, and I could have gone with a bunch of songs from this album, and I kind of thought about Sofa, and I thought about Time, and Caught by the Fuzz maybe, but I don't know. I just can't deny the infectiousness of this song and the energy, and that opening piano is just so immediate. And yeah, it's just can't deny that it's stuck with me for since the first time I heard it. The Clueless soundtrack, it's amazing. I love Supergrass, but yeah, it's the boring pick, but I think it is my favorite.
Sorry, you've had 22 other non-boring picks. You can have one. You can have one normal
Well, I
pick.
also had Common People. That's the basic pick for pulp
I
too.
guess that is an issue. But here in America, I still think it's like different. In fact, all right, probably as well, unless you're really into the Clueless soundtrack, which I am. But um, yeah, I think it passes the test. I think In the Meantime actually might be the most basic
Yeah,
of his songs.
maybe.
My number four, I already talked about them once with She's Electric, which is the Paul McCartney one. Here's the John Lennon one. It's Don't Look Back at Anger from Oasis, and it steals from Imagine for sure, but it's got better lyrics and way cooler guitar. Love just throughout the song. There's all these like little licks and runs, and I don't always notice them, and I don't think I noticed them when I first started liking the song, and then I listened a little closer. And there's just so much good stuff throughout. It's got just a great pump your fist, sing along chorus. And I believe it was my favorite Oasis track, and it's the best Oasis track, so it should have been. So it's my number four. Don't Look Back in Anger, Oasis.
My number three is a song that also got a bit more notoriety in 1996 when it appeared as the B-side to El Scorcho, but it was also on the Angus soundtrack. It is You Gave Your Love to Me Softly by Weezer, which it's just such a perfect condensed pop rock jam. It is a minute and 59 seconds, and they cram so much in. And the lyrical melody is incredible. The guitar's just like chugging along, but then like every time there's a break in the vocals, it like slips into this like pummeling riff. It's so awesome. The chorus is great. The whole thing just it's hard to imagine a better 2 minutes of rock music.
I thought about doing a Weezer song, but I didn't know if it was eligible, so I didn't because I think it was originally released in '94 and then it was remixed. But Suzanne from the Mallrats soundtrack, which I love.
Suzanne's also, yeah, great. They got early on they had great B-sides,
I
and then
do.
they struggled to get good A-sides, so
Yeah. We should do the Weezer discography so we can rag on them some more. My number three, just talked about them. They're back again. Radiohead with The Bends, the title track to The Bends. I love the way it comes in. Some great mammoth riffs. And my favorite part, though, of this whole album, the whole Bends album, is that guitar. I guess it's a solo, but the bridge into the guitar solo. the way it builds. It's, the counterpoint kind of to Fake Plastic Trees, but in the rock sense. Um, just into that solo, and that solo is so cool. It's not that, complicated, but Johnny Greenwood just absolutely slays it. And yeah, of all the tunes on the band's, I think I've heard it like talked about the least amount, but I don't know, just from the moment I heard it, I wanted to learn on guitar, and I did, and I've just kind of been in love with it ever since.
My number two is Hyper Ballad by Bjork. I think it was my number two. I think I have the same top two as when we did Songs of the Year for
I wasn't
95.
paying attention.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be in my top 10, I'd say, like lyrical songs of all time. I think the lyrics are just amazing. Her singing about like throwing appliances off this cliff before her partner wakes up in the morning. It's like this cathartic thing, and she's imagining herself like smacking off the rocks. It's just such a unique lyrical angle to take. I don't think I've ever heard anyone else approach a song like that. And then musically, you have like these organic sounds, these strings up against like a house beat, which it's just like these two things that don't belong together, just like rubbing up against each other. And anyone who watches this channel knows that I'm house music is not my thing, but just the way it's used here is just so perfect. It's pretty great. And of course, her voice is unreal.
Yeah. My number two, I'm gonna get Prince on here again with the song that captured my heart during Prince Week, "I Hate You" by Prince. And I just think it's such a fun song. He does the Prince thing just to perfection. He totally eschews traditional songwriting form and everything for basically just like, I don't know, it's a tour de force soliloquy kind of thing where it's just Prince doing Prince. Um, but they get to the courtroom part where Prince is like the prosecutor and just dropping all sorts of hilarious lines. It's funny, but it's poignant as well, and I think Prince sells the emotion in it just right. And the guitar solo at the end is just awesome, just a ripping squall, just feedback. Um, I don't like that it ends after it ends in like the next song's beginning, so it gets cut off when you're listening to it by itself, which always bugs me. But it's just such a monster tune from Prince. His last, I think, is perfect song.
Okay, my number one favorite song of 1995, same as it was last time. I've got Planet Telex by Radiohead. It's built around a drum sample from its own B-side, which is so weird. Um, but I think that's super cool. And then Colin Greenwood's bass, just unbelievable. So good. Like so much space between notes and like little riffs and things that he plays. Just like he puts just so much distance between notes that but man, when he's playing, he makes it count. It is just perfect. And yeah, apparently they went out and like took a break or something, and Tom got kind of drunk and came back and sang it slumped over in the corner, which feels like how I would assume he sings everything. So, but yeah, it's a great song. It's a great opener for the Bends. It's just yeah, pretty easily my favorite track from the Bends.
Interesting. Interesting. It would be in my top 10 from the bands. I do love it, but I don't, it'd be tough to place. My number one, I think I just picked this because I don't know, nostalgia, maybe. Just trying to think if I actually knew this song in 95 or 96. I'm sure I heard it, but I don't know, it didn't quite dawn on me until later how good Tonight Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins is. And I don't know, I think I started out by being obsessed with the drums from Jimmy Chamberlain. Just the way the speed of those just throughout the song, and it rarely deviates from the same pattern, but it just sounds so cool. Uh, the orchestration that comes in, the music video is awesome. It's just got, I don't know, it's just kind of out of this world feel to it. It doesn't feel like, you know, it should be in the mid 90s. It kind of feels timeless. And yeah, it's just one of those perfect songs you probably take for granted just because it's been heard, been played, and been heard many times. But I do think it's just literal perfection of a song. So it's a boring pick for favorite, and I'm sure I'll change it again because really any of these top like 10 could be number one. They're all about as good as it gets. For a year I didn't like very much. The cream of the crop is so good. Maybe that's why everything else kind of feels flat. But when you get these just ridiculous albums like Melancholy and The Bends and what's the story, Morning Glory and Gold Experience and Different Class, man, I don't know. Everything else just seems kind of gray and tired in comparison. So I had a crummy list. It's a 25 songs. There's like seven artists, and probably could have done more repeating of artists. But what are you gonna do?
All right. Well, that does it for 1995. Let us know what you think of our list. Drop your own favorite songs in the comments. Go back and check our albums video out if you missed it. And if you're playing along, our next deep dive is going to be 1975. And I'm already well into my listening for that, approaching 200 albums. So, very excited. That'll probably happen. I don't want to promise anything anymore, but September, October, something like that.
Before the end of the year, for sure.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, start listening to records from 75, play along, make your own top 25. And yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, check the video description for our label, our Patreon, our merch, our website, our social media. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.